One day, a boy and his little sister were walking home from school. They took their usual shortcut through the woods, which was a labyrinth of bike paths created by the local children. They enjoyed taking this route because it cuts their trip in half. As they were about to exit the woods, the boy noticed a new bike path. This was not unusual because new bike paths were always being discovered. When they arrived home, the boy quickly did his homework and set off on his bike to explore the new path. After being out for several hours, the boy returned. He told his sister all about the new bike path and how the path went through a kind old man's yard. He told her sister that he was going to stop by again tomorrow, after school, and she would come with him. She told him that she would. A few minutes later, her mother called them into the dining room for dinner. As their mother handing out the silverware, she noticed the boy had a scratch on the back of his neck. When asked what happened, the boy said that he fell off his bike. The mother told him that he should be more careful and said to let her clean it after dinner. His dad began chuckling. The next day after school, the two children went through the woods as they normally did. Instead of going straight home, they went through the bike path and up to the old man's home. The boy knocked on the door and the two children were greeted by the kindest looking man a person could ever meet. The old man welcomed the boy back and asked who his sister was. The boy introduced his sister and the old man handed her a flower while saying how pleased he was to make her acquaintance. The old man said it was too outside and asked the children if they would like to come in for a glass of iced tea before heading home. The boy said yes and walked right inside the old man's house. The girl thanked the old man and followed her brother. As they were drinking their tea, the old man shared stories about his life. He talked about his own children as well as his grandchildren. He also mentioned that he liked having the bike path run through the yard. The old man said the bike path reminded him of his youth and how much he used to love riding bicycles. He also said how he felt better having kids ride on that path. If anyone was ever hurt, he would be close by to help. Getting lost in a conversation, the girl finally noticed the time and told her brother that they should get home so they don't get in trouble. The old man apologized, stating how he gets long-winded when talking with company. Before leaving, the girl asked if she could use the bathroom. The kind old man showed her the way to his bathroom. As she exited the bathroom, she noticed a sound coming from the room at the end of the hall. She slowly walked over to the door and looked inside the keyhole. She saw 5 children tied up in the corner with tape over their mouths, squirming around, trying to free themselves. 3 miniature demons walked up to one of the children and stripped him off his clothes. The demons then lifted him up and placed him on the table. What she saw after that was an assembly line of unthinkable horrors. One of the demons cut the child from the back of his neck all the way to his buttocks after skinning the child. Another demon took the skin and washed it out. After being washed out, the skin was given to the third demon to wear, as if it were a costume. After applying a cream along the cut, the wound almost instantly healed, only leaving a minor scratch. The demon, wearing the child's skin, left the room through a little door behind the table. The first demon that skinned the boy began to chop up the body and wrap the meat as if the demon were a butcher. Another demon walked over from the other side of the room and put the meat away in the freezer. The 3 demons then walked over to another child, ready to start the horrific process over again. The girl gasped and began to back away from the door. She bumped into someone standing right behind her. As she turned around, she saw it was the old man. The kind old face she had first seen was no longer there. Instead, he had the face of a demon. Standing next to the old demon was another miniature demon, just like the one she saw in the room. Behind that demon was the skin of her brother, lying on the ground like a pile of dirty clothes. The old demon patted the smaller one on the head, praising it for the good job it had done. The girl started to cry, realizing what happened to her brother the night before, when the door behind her began to open. Before she could even think of running away, she felt several little hands pulling her back as she felt unconscious. The last thing the girl saw was the smiling faces of the older and miniature demons. The two children went to school the next day. When their friends noticed the scratches on the back of their necks, the boy and the girl said they fell off their bikes while playing with their new friend. They then began to talk about how much fun they had and how their friends should come with them after school so they could meet their new friend, the kind old man with a bike path in his yard.